Hi, everybody out there in internet land, and here we are. It's the second week of January already, and it's actually chilly down here in Florida today. So I want to do this little video here, and I haven't done any for a while, but that's all right. So the founders of this nation of ours, America, the United States, were absolute geniuses. These guys were so intelligent. They were way before their times in just a lot of ways, and a lot of things that they did and wrote, their thoughts and ideas. One thing I want to really push on today is their idea of freedom. Because that's why they came here. That's why they fought a revolutionary war. That's why they wrote the Declaration of Independence. That's why they sacrificed some people their wealth and their lives and their families, because they understood that freedom was worth the sacrifice. How tragic today that we in America today do not know, understand, or have that same idea that the framers of this nation had, that freedom is worth fighting for. I find it absolutely tragic. And they fought not only for their own freedom, but ours. If we look in the Declaration of Independence, it talks about the word posterity, and that means future generations. They were fighting for the liberty and freedom for those who they were never going to meet. That's us, guys. You know, as they wrote our documents, their intention was a very small, very limited government. Now, there were those amongst them that were anti-federalists. They didn't really want a centralized federal government, even though that's what we wound up with. But even at that, their idea of that centralized federal government was to be very small, very limited, and in fact, would be supported only by taxation of product that was imported and exported. That's it. So one of their ways of limiting the size and the power of government was limiting the funds that they had through only being able to tax imports and exports. As a matter of fact, if we really look at our documents, even sales tax was not a portion or a part of what the framers had in mind for American citizens. The only type of tax had any stomach for was imports and exports, because anything more would be an infringement on the right of the individual. I hope you guys are grasping this, because now today we have a lady who is a junior Congress, whatever she is, OAC or AOC or whatever her name is, Ocasio-Cortez, whatever the hell you are, who wants to tax people at 70%. Seriously? Now look, man, and the problem with that is because those people that are at that high of a rate, they're rich enough to where they can just pick up and move, and so that's what they'll do. They will shift their money to where it's hidden, And so it falls down to you and I, regardless. And so here's what happens, guys. You know, because we don't stand up and say we're just not doing this anymore collectively as a group of people, and because these entities just take us out one at a time and there's nobody to come to our aid, they get away with it. The bottom line for me is very, very simple. We can't have two laws that contradict each other, because that's a problem right out the gate, which I brought up to the county commissioners so many times it's not even funny, because I would always ask them, which law do I follow? And they're like, we're not here for legal advice. Well, what the hell are you there for? But at the end of the day, if our Constitution is the supreme law of the land, as it says in Article 6, and if the government officials are violating the Constitution and not following their oath, as in Article 6, Sections 2 and 3, what is the recourse for the American people? We can't go to court because the courts don't follow their oaths. See, we are in an absolute dilemma here, guys. Absolute dilemma. And people wonder why I get upset about these things. And it's because I understand what rights and liberty and freedom ought to look like, and we're not there. And we're not there because we don't fight for it, because we don't go out and enforce our personal God-given responsibility to ensure that our children and their children can live in a country where they're going to be free. It's just not going to happen. And some people, I guess, they just feel like, well, I'll be dead, so I don't care. And I get some of that, because I will be dead and I won't care at that point. But I'm alive now and I care now. I guess we don't love our children enough, and our grandchildren and their grandchildren, to ensure that they're not going to be slaves. It's funny, you know, we talk about people being brutalized and raped and this and that and robbed and everything else, and yet our own government's doing it and we don't do shit about it. And you know what? Trump is a part of it, because he's not doing what he should be doing, which is restoring us to the constitutional republic that we're supposed to be. Yeah, the wall's great and this and that, make America great again, da 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 da. At the end of the day, we are still not free. And the things that he's doing is not leading us to freedom. Guys, it's not leading us to freedom. And that's the bottom line. How we can live with ourselves like this is beyond me, because it just frustrates the fire out of me. Have a